All right, we are live and excited. Todd Cahill here on the You vs. You show. This is episode 4. It is Thursday, April 2nd. Hopefully everyone that's watching this live and also on the replay, you're just having a fantastic day. I just got done working outside in my patio, overlooking our golf course. My wife and her sister did the same thing. We had the yoga mats out. We had the bands. I know a lot of us can't go out to the gym, but we got to make the best of it. And that's what this show is all about, making the best of what you have and also really pivoting into something extraordinary by following your dreams and doing what you want to do instead of what everyone else is dictating around you. You know, we're living in interesting times right now, and you can also look at a very pessimistic way, glass is half empty, or you can look at it as glass is half full. So for me and my guest speaker today, Spencer Bonin from Canada, we look at it right now as just an opportunity to grow as people, to take our coaching practices to the next level, to really inspire you, to encourage you to perform above average in these uncertain times. So obviously we're so excited for you to be a part of the You vs. You show, where we want to teach you literally, I know it sounds kind of funny, but to kick your own ass and win. And it really is from my book, You vs. You, the 12 ways to kick your own ass and win. And I want to feature every day some incredible people that just refuse to be average. Now, we all start out as average, of course. We all start out just regular people, but everyone that we interview is doing extraordinary things. So we want to really talk today to Spencer Bonin from Canada. And Spencer has been a client of mine in the Inside Out coaching program just for a few short weeks. But why I really wanted to get Spencer on here, from his home, because I'm very impressed with this young man. He's 29 years old. He's 10 years younger than me, but he reminds me a lot of myself when I was 29. He's a go-getter. He takes action. He's done so much work personally, over 10 years of personal development himself. He is certified in what's called the emotion code. So if you never heard of what the emotion code is, you will hear about it. It's really become a phenomenon across not only America, but also Canada and the world. It's a book written by Dr. Bradley Nelson, who was written actually in 2007, and slowly but surely, year after year, it's starting to really take its course. And there's a little under 2,000 practitioners of the body code, and probably a lot more of the emotion code out there, but it's just something that's new, but it's been around for thousands of years. So I'm really excited for each and every one of you that never heard of the emotion code, that never has even heard of the body code. Spencer's actually working on a certification now, but he's a practitioner. That means he helps people, get this, release their emotional baggage. And we all have a ton, whether it's inherited from our parents, sorry mom, sorry dad, or our grandparents, sorry grandma, sorry grandpa, or even 100 to 200 years old. We have all emotional baggage, and that can go into our lungs, that can go into our heart, what we call the heart wall, and Spencer can really hit on that, and how to break through, because a lot of us want to achieve things, a lot of us want to do amazing things with our life. But a lot of times, through my own experience of being an entrepreneur now for almost 2 decades, is so many great people that have so much potential, and that's almost a killer word, potential, because so many people go to their grave without even fulfilling even 10% of their potential. Is the reason that happens is because they don't really have the self-awareness of really what their emotional baggage is, how to deal with it, how to get rid of it. So like I said, I only want to bring great guest speakers to the show that really just kind of share how we can first kind of release that emotional baggage, heal ourselves internally of the stuff and the pain that maybe we've been through growing up, even down to when we're in the mom's womb. Who knows what she had to go through in those 9 months. Even the Chinese get it, because when a woman is pregnant in China, it's almost like they go away for 9 months and really make sure like they're very calm and they're meditating, because even in that 9 months in your mother's womb, it could be very either detrimental to your future or very growing and really can set your life up. So I want to go to Spencer. Spencer, if you could just come on here and just share just who you are, a little bit of your background, a little bit of your story, and then I got definitely some great questions to share with you for our audience today.
Yeah, for sure. Can you hear me fine?
I sure can.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So hey guys, I'm Spencer Bonin. Born and raised in Calgary, Alberta. I'm an emotion code practitioner, like Todd is saying, and Yeah, a little bit about me. My life growing up as a kid, I've always been, I was always like a fatter kid. I always got picked on. I always got bullied. One day getting off the bus, some kids spit on me, like things
Mm,
like that all the time throughout my life. And, a lot of my friends can attest to that.
sure.
And, throughout my whole life, it was just a lot of anxiety, social anxiety, didn't want
Hmm.
to talk to people, very to myself, stuck with my really small group of friends um,
Hmm.
throughout all of high school, junior high, all that kind of stuff. So, um, really brought me to that point where I just, did not feel comfortable talking to other people. And that's what really brought me to start to develop myself, read books, get out there, start to want more out of life
Hmm.
than just like feeling like crap all the time.
Yeah,
So,
let's talk about bullying real quick. That's such a
yeah.
either we've been bullied or we were the bully. I think a lot of cases, and obviously, now that I'm 39, now that you're 29, you could see maybe even who the bully was and almost have compassion for that person. Maybe the bully was maybe they're beat by their dad, or maybe they were sexually abused and they didn't want to really deal with that emotional trauma, so they felt like, hey, I want to be superior to my own classmates. But at the time when you're getting bullied, you're not thinking, "Oh, I love my bully, and I can see past all his emotional traumas." And
Totally.
it could really set you up for failure for the rest of your life, and you could deal with that. So this is a very interesting topic because I think we're being bullied every day, even on social media. I mean, so many people are afraid to be vulnerable because of trolls, or people that are successful, have a lot of people that hate on them, etc. So I don't think the bullying really stops. But how can we almost be like shielded from that in your own experience of being emotion code practitioner, from our emotions, no matter what anyone says? How can we just not care and just move on and be, living in our passion, living in our mission, no matter what?
Well, definitely. It's one thing that I would say is being an emotion code practitioner, 100% get the book, check it out, read it, start learning how to apply it on yourself. Because for me, when I first started using this, I had to
Mm-hmm.
use it all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And I would be at work, I'd be talking with people, a girl would stand me up,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, something would happen, and then I would have to remove myself, use it, and just constantly use it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, that's number one. But two, one thing that's really cool that's talked about in the emotion code is the shield. You can actually put a shield on yourself. There's an old one and then a new one as well, which
Mm-hmm.
basically puts a protective barrier around you and actually sends out love, protects you from curses, protects you from saboteurs or like negative energy from other people, and
Right.
like keeps that toxic energy out. So those are the two things that I would say. Um, but then just really trying to work out all of your reactivity. So the more you take out these emotions out of yourself, you remove that reactivity from yourself. So that if someone says something, instead of being like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that they just said that, and start going into the spiral downwards of just negativity, you
Mm-hmm.
can sit back and be like, you know what? Maybe that person's having a bad day. Maybe that person's just not happy in their life right now. That's their stuff. That's not my stuff. And
Absolutely. Yeah. So how does the spiritual world, because, if you've been living under a rock your whole life, I think everyone knows that there's a spiritual world out there, and there's definitely an enemy, spiritually. And then there's also, things in the physical world that we have to deal with. How does the spiritual world play into the physical world from your kind of, understanding so far?
Well, from what I've known so far in my work and kind of getting certified in the body code and watching Emmanuel's videos, and listening to Dr. Brad, everything is energy vibrating at different
Hmm.
frequencies. So there's things out there we can't see, we don't know what's there, but there's good energy, there's bad energy, and a couple of really interesting things. And Dr. Bradley Nelson actually was hesitant to talk about it in the body code.
Hmm.
Was things like entities or things like saboteurs, like I was saying before, where it's like a negative energy weapon placed there by someone else.
Yeah.
It's not like vindictively, but like they might have had a negative thought towards you, or like really you did something to really pee them off,
Hmm.
and subconsciously they really dislike that, and they subconsciously put something there to try to harm you, and that's what we refer to as like curses and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
entities though, really, really big as far as like if you have all these negative trapped emotions, they're attracted to that, and really they're there to help kind of push you over the edge as far as like depression, suicide, things like that. So they're absolutely at work. And
yeah, we have obviously the COVID-19 virus, but there's a lot of viruses before that. I read a really good book years ago. I forget the author, but it was called The Virus of the Mind. And it was one of the co-founders of Microsoft that actually wrote the book, and I forget, but it really changed my life. It changed my perspective of there really is a virus going on, and it really can be self-sabotage. And the You vs. You kind of book was all started from me seeing how many people that I actually worked with over the years that were great people, great families, but they would self-sabotage themselves constantly. So the saboteur, is that the same thing as self-sabotage? And what can somebody do to stop self-sabotaging themselves? Like, for instance, if they're presented an opportunity, if they're presented a way for them to actually achieve more, if they're presented even in a romantic relationship, you see that a lot where, it goes well until the real person is revealed, and they've been living in their past, and maybe they're still not over their ex, or, they still are living in the past with a bad relationship, and they may not trust anyone, and they're constantly living in their past. So how have you seen self-sabotage kind of play into people's lives?
It's everywhere. I mean, I've seen it in myself nonstop. I haven't really taken that much action since this program. So I've held myself back a lot in the past, but saboteurs, they're not exactly the same thing.
Right.
Like they can play a role. Saboteurs are more of like an energetic weapon,
okay,
or energetic like control mechanism that kind of someone else put there to kind of prevent you from doing things. So yes, it absolutely can contribute to self-sabotage, because maybe you have something where someone energetically stabbed you in the back from some sort of betrayal, and that keeps you back. That keeps you held back. Maybe you have like I've been finding this a couple times, is something around your neck, like a noose or like a chain or something. So from someone back in the day, or maybe like a parent or something, where it's like they're almost trying to control you that way. So I've seen those, but then just trapped emotions in general. If you've had a negative experience where someone, like I was saying, like someone screwed you over, or whatever it is, or someone broke up with you or whatever, those experiences shape that and leave that ball of energy there and but they start making you vibrate in that frequency, which is what's coming into your life all the time. And if you have that ball of energy there, that's really going to start to help or start contributing to your self-sabotage, because they're just energies you don't even know they're there.
Yeah.
And once you start getting rid of them.
Yeah. Well, let's get really real, because like we're going to get betrayed. All of us. I've been betrayed many times. And I'm not talking just like my wife betrayed me, or I'm not talking about that, because that could obviously happen to anybody. But I'm just talking about growing up. Like if you think about like middle school, a girl really likes you, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, she goes to your best friend, and now they're dating, and you're just like, oh, I'm so sad. And then in high school, it's like you fall in love. It's like that Garth Brooks song. He's like, thank God for unanswered prayer. And the song is about like how you fall in love with your high school sweetheart, and then she breaks your heart. But then 10 years later, it's like a high school reunion, and you have your real wife or a real spouse, and you're so grateful that God didn't answer your prayer in high school, because you're just so much happier. So we've all been betrayed. We've even on the basketball court, or in sports, or if you've been cut in a sports program, or you're just not good enough. I mean, Michael Jordan got cut from the basketball team in 10th grade, and that really probably what made him who he is today, or was when he was playing basketball. Even today, he's probably still so competitive because he has a chip on his shoulder. So at the end of the day, I think, how do you really handle someone who comes to you and is kind of giving you their sob story, and you're really like, well, welcome to life, welcome to planet Earth. How can you put that in perspective for people?
Well, one, release the trapped emotion, get rid of the negative energy around that particular event or whatever it is. But two, it's just a matter of talking to them about, it's all about choice. You have the choice to make that conscious decision. You can choose to sit there and be a victim and continue to be blown around by the circumstances that you've had, or you can choose to take that lesson and learn and grow from it. So it's like, even for myself in grade 10, I worked my butt off to become part of the badminton team, got on the badminton team, went to go to do, go to play in provincial or whatever it was, the tournament that we had, boom, cut. They benched me. I was destroyed. But
Yeah.
that made me feel like I need to be so much better than what I was, because there's a reason I'm getting cut. So you need to look at those things. Sure, it might be hurtful, but you
Right.
need to actually look at the things that are, it's showing you where you need to improve and what you need to persist.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like to kind of piggyback off that. So are you saying, and it's this kind of a metaphor, let me set this up. So you're saying if I've been cheated on, then I deserved it? Well, no. But, and obviously, you know, that happens even if you don't deserve it, but there's certain vibrations or certain energy. Maybe the person that got cheated on was a complete jerk for 12 years and the woman just kind of had enough, you know, or the man had enough. Maybe, you know, the person was cut because they were lazy and they played video games, you know, during the summertime, and they didn't work hard during the summertime when fall season came or spring ball. Maybe the person broke up with them just because they didn't talk a lot and they didn't have much of a personality. So you're absolutely right. So but it is hard. Obviously, self-awareness is not the easiest thing, you know, but vulnerability is courageous, you know, being vulnerable and saying, look, this is my current reality. You might be broke right now. You might be alone right now. You might be lonely. You might even been suicidal. But I think a real man and a real woman that has integrity kind of comes to this point in life, and hopefully they do it sooner than later. And they just basically are just honest with themselves. So how important is it if someone comes to you and is just telling you the truth, even in that first session, but they have a driving desire to change? How important is that for you as a practitioner to really help them when they have that kind of attitude and perspective?
It's so important. It's one of the most important things, because like if you come into me with a problem but you're not willing to do things to kind of help that change along the way, yes, there's the subconscious side of things where we're getting rid of that energy, but like I said before in the previous example, you have to have that mindset of how am I going to turn this into a positive, and you have to be able to look at that situation and just pivot off of it versus getting destroyed by it. So if someone comes into my practice and they really want to change and they're willing to do things to change their life, then it's so important, because they're actually going to take action towards where they want to go.
Yeah, and it comes to like, and I know me and you are not like marital counselors or anything like that, or but at the same time, what we've seen in the emotion code and the body code changes marriages, it changes relationships, it actually puts things in perspective. But I'll just give you an example. It's like, the biggest stressful things in life obviously is death. Obviously that's something that we can't avoid, and hopefully we all live long lives, but it's very stressful and we can't avoid that. That's going to happen. But the second thing, and the most stressful thing that anyone has going on, is divorce. And then the third is separation. So when it comes to those two things, even if you're not married, maybe one day you will, or if you're together with, a significant other, I look at it this way. When you actually work, let's say right now, and this is such an important point, and you can speak to this, please, but let's say everything is good in a relationship. It could be better, just like health-wise, okay, I'm okay. I'm not obese, but I don't have a six-pack, or I don't have a lot of muscle, whatever. But you could do better. So in life, it kind of goes like this. You're either going to choose to grow or you're going to choose to decline. So it's very simple. If you don't choose this, automatically you choose to die. You basically choose to grow, right, to decline. So does somebody need to meet with you when the trauma is just insane? I mean, you're almost like a therapist. I mean, they're going to lose their marriage. They're going to lose everything. Or is it so much easier to come to you when things are pretty good, but you want to kind of seek, like, I do have emotional baggage, and anger does come up occasionally. Anxiety comes up occasionally. I do kind of snap at my spouse, or I do kind of snap at my friends, or I'm a little angry sometimes. How important is it for someone just to come to you at that point in life, as opposed to when shit hit the fan and like maybe they don't even have any more options left?
Well, the thing is, it's the second option is it's a lot better, because you can actually work with someone. They're not so wrapped up in that victim mentality that it's just holding them back, and they just want to keep going back to that same thing.
Yes.
If someone's in a place where they're pretty good, but they know exactly, like, little things they can work on,
Mm-hmm.
it's so nice because you can get pinpoint accuracy rather than someone just being like, oh my goodness, I have so much anxiety. It's like, okay, well, slow down. Where is your anxiety? Is it social anxiety? Is it anxiety when you go talk to people one-on-one? Is it anxiety in groups? Is it anxiety when you go for a drive? So like you do that, but it's so important for someone to realize, if you're just always stuck in that victim mentality, it's so hard to
Mm-hmm.
propel off of there. And obviously the emotion
Yeah.
code can definitely help and you can see some pretty crazy changes, but it's good to be at a good solid state yourself, and no one's going to make you change unless you're willing to change.
Yeah, and going back to what you said, the saboteurs and stuff, and this negative, energy, and like the kind of the metaphors that you were talking about, like somebody was stabbing in your back, and I've been in my life where things are just going to shit. I mean, it's just like how the whole saying, when it rains, it pours. I mean, I've been there so much where it's like you get an email, and then you get a letter in the mail, and then you get a text, and then you get into a fight, and then you get into this. It's just like when it rains, it pours. Is that a saboteur maybe, or is it maybe both of maybe I'm creating a lot of this stuff, or is it outside of my control? Or if you really look at that email, if you look at that text, if you look at, whatever, the tax issue or the money issue, if you really go to the actual source, maybe that it was all caused by me, and taking full responsibility. But how does someone like go from, oh my gosh, I'm innocent, I'm a victim. And we see this all in jails across America. I didn't do anything wrong. I swear, I didn't do anything. Some people obviously are innocent, and they're still in jail, but most of them obviously are probably guilty. But it's just like they still think they're innocent. So how do we go from I'm totally the victim to that maturity of, what, it's all my fault? How does that happen? Is that easy, or is that like super, super hard? If someone was always playing victim their whole life, how does someone snap out of it?
It can be challenging for sure. But I would say the emotion code is a really good place to start. You can start releasing some of those trapped emotions that are automatically pulling you back to that and bringing you to that resonance. So that's number one. Number two is to really start listening to, reading positive books, because then that way you're kind of getting some things on the paper. You're contributing to your imagination, thinking about things about how life could be. So you're starting to shift your mindset that way.
Yeah.
Then you can start listening to positive audios, which then that way that's kind of starts getting your brain thinking in the right way, because that's ultimately what it is. Sure, there's saboteurs, sure, there's trapped emotions, but that vibration is ultimately what's creating your reality. So if you're having a day where it's just raining and it's pouring and it just keeps piling on, it's because little things keep happening, and then you're like, oh, see, that just got so much worse. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. See, it gets so much worse. So then you're just feeding this negative spiral.
Yeah.
It's attracting worse and worse things. And it's almost like the universe saying, like, hey, man, I'm going to keep bringing you worse and worse crap until you make a shift.
Okay,
yourself.
So talk about that right there. If there's anything someone can get from this interview, what you just said is genius. And I want you to say it again. And I want you to talk a little more, because this is where people are getting trapped with the news. They're getting trapped with COVID-19. They're getting trapped in the economy. They're getting trapped in their future. They're not being able to break the neural loop of their negativity. So repeat what you just said and speak more into that, because people need to hear that.
So basically, it's almost as if you're talking about the universe part, right? Where it's like,
like if you get into this funk, the universe just says, all right, I'm going to keep giving you more until you wake up. And some people never wake up. Some people, it's like the Keanu Reeves part in The Matrix, where he finally realizes that he's Neo, and he's just like, whoa. Keanu Reeves acting, he's just like, whoa, I get it now. But most people won't get it.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So when it's raining and it's pouring and you're just getting all these negative experiences, it's almost like they build on each other, getting worse and progressively worse and progressively worse. It's like, let's say you start the day where you wake up, you feel like crap, you get out of the bed, boom, you stub your toe on the dresser, and you're like, oh crap, my toe. So then boom, next thing you go down, and then you slam or accidentally you drop your bowl of cereal all over the place, and just like things keep going and keep going and keep going. And then all of a sudden next step is like, oh, I'm in my car, crash, 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 right? So it's like these things keep piling and piling until you get to a breaking point where you're like, okay, I've had enough. What is going on? What can I do to change this? Because you know, until you make that shift. And once you make that shift, that is the biggest part. Then you start looking for change. You're looking for audios, you're looking for books, you're looking for different ways of life. You're seeing other people that are like, well, why is he happy? Blah 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 blah. So you're starting to search out the different things, and that's the shift that you need to start kicking your own ass to get out there
exactly,
and make a change.
And that's so it's in morning routine. I could talk about it for another hour, but I know we got to wrap up, and I want to definitely have you share like where people can follow you on Instagram and Facebook, and really what you do. And what I was going to say, so morning routine, just to speak to that, I think everyone definitely needs to be in a morning routine. Meditation right when you wake up. You know, for me, I read my Bible, I have my prayer journal, I meditate, I set my intentions for the day, but I also have a achievement plan, an action plan. I know what I'm doing in my day, and I kind of, you know, look at my schedule. So I think what's so important is your morning is either going to be fight or flight, or you're going to actually choose to, you know, meditate and, you know, let your subconscious be controlled by you, or you're controlling your subconscious mind and not just letting it control everything around you. So very important. Okay, so obviously we really appreciate you, Spencer, being on. It's not like you're a public speaker. It's not like you've been on radio and television for years, but you're doing a fantastic job. You are one of my clients in the Inside Out coaching program. You've been in it for just 2 weeks. So happy to have you on board. So honored to work with you. Where can people find you? And I know you actually do the coolest thing. You do live energy healings on Facebook. So I want to have you kind of promote that so everyone can actually tune into you.
Absolutely. So people can follow me. I have my Facebook is just Spencer Bonin, just as you see on the screen there. If it's my Facebook page is SB mind-body-balance, mind-body balance. And then same thing for Instagram. It's at Spencer Bonin or at SB mind-body.
Cool.
Without the balance. Yeah, so those are my main things. And then I also have a YouTube channel as well. I'm just getting that all going and everything as well. So any support would be super helpful. And yeah, if you want to get like a free treatment on Facebook Live, I'm just starting to give a bunch of treatments and everything online just to show, just to really show what this work's all about. You know, like it's so amazing. And like just the other day, I think yesterday we had a lady on there who had pain that was a 7 out of 10 on her hip and her knee, and doing that treatment, boom, both of them went down to a 0.
Yeah, and I'll say for myself, I've been getting healed myself through Emmanuel Zavios, who referred me to you, and it's the real deal, guys. Like I've been coached by the best in the world, and it was performance based and leadership based. But man, if I had what Spencer's talking about 10 years ago, I mean, I would probably be living like a monk all the time, in a good way, like completely calm. And so everything is great no matter what happens around me. So I'm just also being introduced to this the past 4 to 5 months, but it's just been fantastic for me personally. And that's why I really want to have people like Spencer on the show. So Spencer, any last advice or comments when people are going through COVID-19 right now? Is there anything that you could just kind of look at them and say, you know, give them that last tip of the day here?
Yes. Take advantage of this time that you have. When else do we get time to sit around and learn about new skills, read different books, get fit, when everyone else is doing the exact same thing? So if you want to go out there and you want to show your light, you want to show different things that you are really skilled at on Facebook Lives or whatever, everyone else is home too. So take advantage of this time, spend time with your family, reach out to the people that you love and care about, and just really don't waste this time, because it's such a gift. It is such a gift that we have right now.
It is.
And I could go on for
what a great perspective, because CNN ain't saying it's such a gift. Fox News is not saying this is such a gift, but the reality is, obviously, stay safe, social distancing. You know, don't go, you know, in large crowds. Obviously, be smart, obviously, with your respiratory system, work out, be healthy. But on top of that, what a gift. What a gift to be home with your loved ones. What a gift to work on yourself, work on a craft, pivot into an online business or an online practice like Spencer has, being able to even earn money off your passion because you're helping people so well, developing a new skill set, getting certified in self-education. Screw the traditional education. Okay, that gets people nowhere, unless you're going to be a doctor or nurse. But if you really want to start your own business practice, you can get certified in different things like Spencer does, the emotion code, body code. You don't have to be IQ of 155 to do that. It's just your passion and your drive to go ahead and think outside the box. And that's why we want to feature people like Spencer on the You vs. You show, is because there is no excuses here. Anyone can do anything. You have everything inside of you. But you do need help, you do need a coach, you do need a practitioner to really pull that out of you so that you can live your fullest self and you can step into your full power. And that's why we do the show for you for free, so that we can just help guide you in any possible way. So again, Spencer, thank you so much for being on from Canada. You're awesome. Your future looks very bright. I know you're going to be helping so many people. You already are. So I really appreciate you.
I just wanted to say one thing. I really couldn't, what I was saying earlier, and what I should have said about getting someone out of that funk, is a coach.
Mm-hmm.
It is so important, and I'm sorry I didn't touch on this earlier, but having a coach and having you as a coach has been absolutely amazing. Amazing. It's just the constant engagement, the constant positivity, the constant hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay?
Yeah.
Always on point, always focusing, and just helping us really break through those barriers that we need to break through. And that is the other thing that I just find that is just unbelievable. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough so far. And it's only been 2 weeks. I can only imagine what the next year is going to be like.
All right. It's going to be great. 2020 is going to be a great year for you, my friend. We're going to help you through you change a lot of lives, obviously through your practice and through just the skill set, keep getting better and better. And just a lot of people just coming to you. And you obviously, doing exactly what you're talking about, because you're not going to have all these saboteurs and self-sabotage. You get it. And now the universe is like, Spencer, here's your blessings. Here's your gifts. We love you. You got it. You figured it out. And that's what's so powerful about all this. So, all right, cool. Well, thanks for being on. Appreciate you and getting out of your comfort zone. Appreciate each and every one of you for watching the You vs. You show. Hey, share this with a friend. Share it with a relative. We're on this is the first week, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central, You vs. You show, 30 minutes. Best 30 minutes you can spend every day to help you really make a shift, make a pivot, change your mindset, do something that you love in the next 30, 60, 90 days, because this will never be like this ever again. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to make that shift. So thanks so much, everyone, for watching the show. Appreciate it.